A navvy encampment in the foothills of the Mendips, where disused railways are finding function again as transport corridors, albeit with calories, not coal, burned for motive power. The Somerset Circle is an ambitious active travel concept, linking Bristol, Bath, the Mendip Hills, the Somerset Levels and the coast. Over 2/3 of its 76 miles have already been completed, with missing links around Wells and Shepton Mallet being tackled this year following passionate driving by the now disbanded Mendip District Council. Several noteworthy structures will return to service. The Strawberry Line section mostly follows the erstwhile railway through the Cheddar Valley. The latest addition to the route connects Easton and Westbury, only a mile apart, but the lack of pavements alongside the busy A371 makes journeys perilous for pedestrians, whilst traffic levels deter cyclists. Passing beneath an old railway bridge and carefully adjusting levels to create cycle-friendly gradients on and off the former trackbed has made active travel a viable option here. It demonstrates what can be achieved through ingenuity, pragmatism, determination to succeed, and a stroke of luck.
Trying to find the individual who's responsible for it was to put that reinforcing under the bridge 30 years ago when there was no obvious hope of getting a path through, but reinforced it so that it could be used as an active travel route in years to come. And in the intervening years, all this ground we're standing on here was buried, but nonetheless the reinforcing was there, and we were able to dig down and use that for a fairly gentle gradient. 1 in 20, that's what we were aiming for, and that's what we've achieved.
The tension between narrow asset management decision-making and society's transition to greener forms of transport comes into sharp focus near Shepton Mallet, where the infilling of a bridge carrying Ridge Road over the proposed route of the Strawberry Line was completed by National Highways in 2019 at a cost to the taxpayer of £272,000. The state-owned roads company seeks to reduce the risks associated with 3,100 legacy railway structures, which it looks after on the Department for Transport's behalf. With traffic levels increasing and sightlines poor, the safety value of the buried structure isn't lost on Greenways and Cycleroutes, the charity leading development work on this part of the Somerset Circle. With that in mind, very welcome is National Highways' agreement to create a route for active travellers beneath one of the bridge's 3 spans, averting the need for an at-grade crossing. 4,000 tonnes of cutting infill is being excavated to form an approach ramp in anticipation. There are signs of positive change in the approach being taken by National Highways. In 2018, it objected to a planning application to allow a section of the Strawberry Line to be laid under this bridge, carrying a busy road through Shepton Mallet. This year, however, the company facilitated its repurposing by negotiating a licence, an approach which could allow other DFT-owned bridges to fulfil a similar future role, if the department buys into it. The newer and more benign of Windsor Hill's 2 tunnels was inexplicably fenced off by National Highways in 2018, despite decades of informal public use for recreational purposes. Now reopened, it's one of 3 larger structures comprising the Shepton Viaducts project, setting out to create a spectacular local active travel route extending for 1.5 miles along the former Somerset and Dorset Railway. It's the first step towards Midsummer Norton and a junction with the Collier's Way. Whilst the big engineering has been tackled by Goldings, a trusted local contractor, a plethora of other tasks are in the willing and able hands of volunteers who've descended on the site as part of Greenways and Cycleroutes' joyful and industrious annual week-long work camp, at which miracles happen.
I love cycling. I'm not safe on the road. I'm getting too old, too wobbly. I love the cycle paths, and we have such a wonderful time. Who wants to sit on the beach when you can be here, creating something for yourself, for the community, and having such a lovely time?
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. I love every minute of it. There's a lot of variety, you know, planting trees one day, stone walling the next day, making coping stone blocks the next day, so, you know, tremendous variety. It's good fun.
Grade 2 listed Bath Road Viaduct was built for a single line in 1874, but a second structure was erected alongside it when the S&D was double-tracked 18 years later. The joint between them opened periodically, and a programme of remedial works was being planned when the new viaduct's central pier collapsed without warning on the night of the 1st of February 1946, bringing down the two adjacent arches. The cause was identified as poor construction and water infiltration. Rebuilding work took 6 months. The 6-arch Ham Wood viaduct further north had fallen into neglect during its period of private ownership, with much of the structure consumed by ivy. Trees and vegetation have since been removed from its deck by community volunteers, whilst concrete coping stones have been cast at a rate of 50 a day to replace those missing from the parapets. Refuges, previously infilled with functional breeze block, now benefit from attractive galvanised steel profiles. The two structures are crucial to the new Greenways' viability, forming links through the treetops across their respective valleys.
For me, being an engineer, I just think it's marvellous to be working down these embankments and cuttings and bridges and tunnels, because the Victorians did such a great job. And really, in truth, we should have kept every single metre of the railways in the country for this sort of use. You're trying to create something that's so memorable that people want to do it again and again and again. You're trying to negotiate a route through that people will say, that's wonderful, let's do more.
Encouraging people onto foot and bike brings physical and mental health benefits, whilst increased tourism, attracted in part by inspired engineering, helps to boost local economies. Going green is both socially and personally positive.
Oh, great, that's a good one.
Work on the recently completed Greenways was funded by an investment of more than £500,000 from Mendip District Council, whilst the Shepton Viaducts route has been supported by a £175,000 grant from the Railway Heritage Trust, underlining the value for money delivered by community-led projects and invested volunteers. Next up in Shepton Mallet, a possible extension of the new route to incorporate Charlton Viaduct, an impressive 27-span structure on the town's east side. The Somerset Circle is slowly being squared.